Well, it's a good thing there's 2 launches. No wonder nobody's watching. So you're gonna have to go buy a new charger? Sad. There's a whole different set of stuff you have to do to get your stream to go live on YouTube. And I didn't do it right. Oh well. I gotta make sure the next time I go live to look for the end stream on my YouTube thing. I have no excuse for why nobody's watching on Kick. There's just nobody watching on Kick. Bride Wars. What do they have mud fights or something? Should I watch Bride Wars on here? Maybe if I watch Bride Wars on Kick until they ban me or whatever. I thought about streaming just over there, but nobody watches. I have 17 followers over there. $9.45. Couldn't they put these 2 launchers closer together? So I didn't have to ad-lib for another hour. Let's talk about switch screens here. Let's talk about well, first of all, I should talk about the last rocket that it launched that I broadcast, which was Firefly.
He's the real elbow.
Let me switch back over here to game time. Move the chat back over to here. Maybe make it a little bigger. So for anyone that was here for my last stream, we watched the launch of Firefly's Alpha rocket, and I did not watch the entire sequence after it made it into orbit. But it turns out that the second time that they lit the second stage didn't go correctly. I'm going to go ahead and mute this music. The second time they lit the second stage didn't go correctly, and it did not make it to the correct orbit. I think they were able to communicate with it, but it didn't go correctly. Which is why it was a partial failure. Hopefully they can get their act together, because Firefly has 5 launches in 2024 scheduled. Now, I don't know if you were paying attention during that stream, but I also mentioned that the company Firefly is developing engines for another rocket, which is the Antares, I think it's spelled. Nope, spelled it wrong. Let's see, how can I find it since I don't remember how to spell it? I have to give myself a oh, I know it starts with an A. I know. I'll look up Northrop. That's how I found it last time. Here it is. Antares. I thought that's how I spelled it. Anyway. 2025, Firefly is developing the booster stage for the Antares 330, and they have 2 scheduled for 2025 and 1 for 2026, and these will be resupply missions to the International Space Station, unmanned, basically cargo missions to the International Space Station. But another rocket I'd like to talk about is some similarities to the rocket that we're going to watch in this next launch, in that it will be partially reusable, and that's the Rocket Lab's Neutron rocket, which I'm showing on the screen right now. Basically, the Neutron rocket will launch the first stage. Will open up a clamshell. It won't actually release the fairings. It'll just open up. A small second stage will come out of there. The clamshell will close again, and then this whole part will come back down and land near the launch site. In order to keep things simple, they're not going to have ships to catch it like SpaceX does. They're all going to be launches like the one we saw earlier, where it returns to the launch site. It's smaller than Falcon 9, but it's much bigger than the rocket they currently have. You can see here this one will be capable of 13,000 kilograms to low Earth orbit, as opposed to the Falcon 9, which can launch 22,000 pounds to low Earth orbit. However, I don't know if this number is reusable or not. Probably not. So I would say that the Falcon 9 has got about twice the lift capacity. However, it is still interesting that someone is developing a reusable rocket similar to Falcon 9. And I see one there they currently plan to try to launch that. Looks like they're shooting for this time next year, roughly. December 2024. Hopefully they can stay on schedule. I actually have a few shares of Rocket Labs. I wouldn't recommend, but I figure what the heck. I'm not giving any stock advice, but I will tell you if SpaceX were to go public, I would be buying heavily, very heavily. That's another rocket I can talk about. One of the rockets I could talk about is SpaceX's other rocket, Starship. Starship is a very, very impressive rocket from every aspect. It's got the Falcon 9 has 990,000 pound thrust engines. The Starship has 33 510,000 pound thrust engines. Went with an OLED, huh? I was afraid to go with an OLED. I was afraid of the burn-in. Is that something you don't worry about? Someone sent me a message in Discord that I'm reacting to. I think I got the pounds right. Let's see. Raptor engine with sometimes I can't keep all this straight in my head. 3310000 divided by 33. That doesn't sound right. Oh, that's the second stage. Anyway, I was talking about the Raptor engine. The Raptor engines that they had on the first and second Yeah, let me know that works out for you. I have three 4K monitors. They're I think they're LGs. I basically have them. What the heck? I'll show you. Gotta remember how to turn this thing on. Screen. What's this do? Huh. Oh, that's not the right one. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, I'll have to work out. I have an old phone here that I'm using as a second camera, but I think I deleted my source, so it's not working. Anyway, the Raptor engine that they're developing for the Starship, the ones that have already launched, have 507,000 pounds of thrust. However, they've already tested a third version of that engine that will have 593,000 pounds of thrust. And there's 33 on the first stage, which is just insane. Troy, it's supposed to go off in an hour and 1 minute. Let me get see if the guys have gone live on that other station. Just for your own notification, if you find me too boring to watch, I'm going to put into chat here this other station. Give me a second here to get all caught up. One way to cheat having multiple audio sources is to use your phone, but I can't get the darn cord to actually plug all the way in. One moment. Right. The link I just put into chat, these guys are the guys to watch launches on. You don't need me. They do a much better job. They have actual live cameras at the actual launches with all sorts of experts, and Looks like they're going to go live in 16 minutes and 39 seconds. I've got to get that on my phone here. Pardon me while I figure this out. Huh. So you on break, Troy, or? Anyway, I was talking about the engines on the Starship. The second stage on Starship, they're talking about adding more engines to, that would give them a total of 9 engines. And I was calculating the other day that the 9 engines on the second stage of Starship will actually be have more thrust. I gotta go close the door. One moment, please. Be right back. Yes, the 9 engines on the second stage of Starship, when they go to the third version of the Raptor, will actually have more thrust than the Falcon Heavy that we just saw launched earlier tonight, which to me is bonkers. They are already, let's go ahead and violate the copyright for a second here. And I'm going to show you give you an idea what this website has. They have live cameras in Florida. So these are 3 live feeds from Florida. These are live feeds from Texas. And who wouldn't kill to have 584 people watching their stream? And there's nothing going on. They're just sitting here watching the lights flash until tomorrow morning when work starts again in Texas. And oh, here, look at this. Overpressure notice delivered. Closure on December 29th. It looks like they're going to do another test of the third vehicle that's going to attempt to launch probably as early as the 29th. And they'll have thousands of people watch that. It's pretty interesting. And they have this is the place where they test the rockets for SpaceX in McGregor, Texas. And if you actually notice in the corner, up in the corner here, they tell you when a rocket test happened. So that if we go to the 6-hour and 19-minute mark, how do we find that? Minus 9 hours and 9 minutes? 9 hours and 9 minutes. Oh, here we go. You can actually watch them test the rockets at the rocket stand. I mean, this channel, NASA Spaceflight, is just, if you're a rocket nerd, you can nerd out with these guys. For sure. For sure. Okay. These guys are going to go live in 9 minutes and 33 seconds. I wish I could show you their stream. I wish I could, but I don't want to get banned or upset them because I don't want to do that. I don't mind showing you SpaceX's feed because they're really cool about the whole thing. They figure it's advertising for themselves. I really should figure out my camera so I can show you my setup. Of course, it's dark in here right now, but video capture device. That's me. Where did I put this? Huh. Add source. Video capture device. Add existing. That isn't what I want. Darn it. I'm still a noob at this. Still a noob at OBS. Gotta learn all this stuff. So what are you guys all up to tonight besides waiting for grass to grow here at Nani Land? Ooh, I have one view. It's probably me. I'm looking at my YouTube. I have 2 viewers over here, but unfortunately on Kick, I don't know how to look at who's here. Wonder what happens if I type at. Nothing. I don't think they show up unless they actually type. And one of them left. Five days. Wow. What are you going to do with 5 days off? It's too cold to go golfing, isn't it? Being retired every day's off. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out we're going on a cruise. And we're the type that like to know what's going to happen in advance, so we were trying to figure out exactly what hotel we're going to stay in and how we're going to get from the hotel to the port and how we're going to get from the hotel to the hop on, hop off bus and where does the bus stop. Yeah, I guess you're in California. Although in Northern California where you are, doesn't it get pretty cold? Not cold, but kind of chilly. Not like classic East Coast cold, but or isn't your weather like the Bay? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, 50 degrees is what I expect you to have said. So you put a jacket on. It's not like you're going to need gloves. Alright, let's see if these guys have gone live yet. We'll begin in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. The whole idea of Starlink interests me because I think I talked about this on a previous stream before I got affiliate. The idea of being able to put a viable internet onto an RV and then travel around the country, having internet everywhere you go, just is next level. I mean, you've always been able to get satellite internet, but for anyone that's used the older satellite internet, you know it's useful for watching movies, and that's about it. Any interacting with it is just a joke. Alright, man. You don't have to watch the VOD. You're better off actually watching the live people that I'm taking this from, but thank you anyway. Take care. Enjoy your days off. It was good to see Hirsch. Haven't seen him in a while. Probably been about 3 months since I've seen Hirsch. There you go, Molly. The other thing I can do if I can get my camera working is show you guys Molly. Molly's a black lab. Raven that was in here earlier, she has a dog who she calls Shadow. I could probably find a picture of Shadow. Let's get back to the rockets. So what do we know about the booster that's launching tonight? Booster 1069. This will be the 12th time this thing has launched and landed. It's going to land on a drone ship called a short fall of gravitas, and the other times that this flew go back to first launch was in December of 2021. It actually did a International Space Station cargo resupply mission. It flew Starlink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7, 8 times. This will be a 9th time for Starlink. And it's also flown the other satellite service that I was talking about, called OneWeb, and a couple other missions. So this booster's been around. "12 times in less than 2 years. Pretty impressive. They mentioned earlier this will be the 96th launch for 2023 by just SpaceX. The previous day broke their own previous record of 60, which was last year. Next year they hope to hit 140, I think, which is staggering. Okay, and these other guys say they're going to go live now, but they didn't. They probably forgot to hit their go live button on their YouTube. No, they know what they're doing. Oh, I have my darn cable plugged in right. Oh, now it says it's going live in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay. Is there any change over here, or is this still going to happen? Let's check out SpaceX's X feed, and I don't see anything here. say? Upcoming Starlink mission. Watch. So this is supposed to go live at 10:55. Oh gosh, there's 30 minutes before that even goes live. Anyway. So who in chat would actually ride a rocket up into space? Would actually go aboard, say, Dragon on Falcon 9? Would anybody do that? Let's make a poll. There we go. See if anyone will enter the poll. I would. Now the Dragon capsule is not on the ship that the Falcon 9 we're watching tonight. That's a different variant of the rocket. So have you guys heard about the Dear Moon mission? Oh gosh. Come on, Cable, don't fail me now.
Just tweeted about 20 minutes ago at this point that they were on track for tonight's launch. So, Alex, what is tonight's launch?
Come on,
So
Cable.
tonight we're gonna see another Falcon 9 taking a batch of Starlink D2 mini satellites into low Earth orbit. By the way,
Quality, advanced, 1080. How did I manage to do that again? Have cables will entangle. Whatever. It's time to play the button.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main beam plus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by at 13. We're looking at it.
There we go. I'm happy with my cables now. Tell you what, we're gonna cheat a little. We're gonna watch a commercial. So this is the video feed from NASA Space Flight, the YouTube channel that has not quite hit 1 million yet. They're getting close. It's kind of shocking they don't have 1 million. When they did the last Starship launch, they had 236,000 live viewers of their stream, which is wild. But this is their own camera that's showing this video. We're looking at Launch Complex Space Launch Complex 40, which I will show you where that is. So the first launch that we watched today was actually over here at 39A. Here, there's a new launch complex being built for Starship, also at 39A. And now we're moving down the coast a little, and we're watching the launch at Slick 40. Fun fact, this is an older picture they've now added a launch tower, or a tower that allows them to do manned launches from this launch pad, which you can kind of see. This little thing here is an arm that for a manned launch would have actually reach around and go out to the rocket. Now, why do they add this when they have one at 39A? Turns out that when I was showing you this earlier, when SpaceX added, shoot, how do I zoom back out? When SpaceX added the launch complex for Starship so close to 39A, NASA started to freak out, because if Starship blew up, which new rockets have a tendency to do, they were afraid that they were going to destroy the only launch pad that the US, or that SpaceX currently has, or the US currently has, to launch humans to the International Space Station, or to anywhere for that matter. Boeing is supposed to have another capsule operational, but as of the last time I looked, it's called Starliner. The next time they're going to try to launch it is going to be in April of 2024. Except this time I believe they're going to launch it with people. It'll be the first manned mission with Starliner. Starliner has been a financial disaster for Boeing. Oh, that's funny. Look at them using the same source I am. That's funny. Oh, it's interesting. They're talking right now about how I mentioned that during the first launch, Jesse, the SpaceX person, said that this was going to be the last launch for 2023, and there was supposed to be one on the 30th, and they were just talking about how SpaceX just updated their website. That launch that was supposed to happen on the 30th is going to happen on the 2nd. So the record will, if this is successful, the record will stand at 96 that they have to break next year. Okay, we have according to this, we have 23 minutes to launch. And I believe that SpaceX should go live when? I gotta get my right tab open here. Could have sworn I had that somewhere. 10:55. Getting there. We're getting there. Fascinating question they asked over there. Someone was just asking on the other stream whether SpaceX would launch any Starlinks to orbit the moon instead of the Earth to set up internet on the moon, which I don't think is in their plans, but I've thought myself about the topic of increasing communications capabilities once we have people on Mars. A, so that they can communicate with each other on the planet, and B, to increase the capability of communicating between people that are on Mars back to Earth. And I know we're just watching a Starlink launch tonight, but might as well ramble. One of the things that's interesting about traveling to Mars from Earth is that basically as the Earth is going around the sun and Mars is going around the sun, the way it works out, the distance between the Earth and Mars is only at its shorter distance once every roughly 2 years. And then it gets greater and greater till it reaches its maximum distance, and then it gets smaller and smaller, and 2 years later they're closer again. And it's for that reason that in any discussions of SpaceX, NASA, or anyone on Earth going to Mars, you have to take into account the fact that you have a brief window every 2 years, not only to get to Mars, but how long you can stay on Mars if you don't want to stay there forever. As an example, if it took you most of the window of, say, 6 months, a 6-month window to get to Mars, if you don't immediately turn around and start coming back, you basically need to wait 2 years or survive on Mars for 2 years before it makes sense to try to come back. Which, in the complexity of taking humans to Mars as opposed to the missions we've seen so far where little rovers run around the planet or a helicopter flies around, the idea of taking people to Mars is a whole lot more complicated and a whole lot riskier. I did love the movie Martian, where what was the name? Matt Damon, I think his name was. I'm terrible with names, but how he had to survive by figuring out how to grow the plants and stuff. Why did my sound go way over here? Did I push a button? Don't think I did. Apparently I did. Okay, little update. We're about 11 minutes from the live stream going live. Once this does happen, it should be about 25 minutes long. And I don't have anything else planned for tonight's stream, so we probably will end shortly after the booster lands. It's time for me to take time out here and show my presence. Oh, that's funny. My bot made it to level 1. How sad is that? My bot that's begging for people to give money has reached level 1. I have to figure out how all that stuff works. I don't know. I don't know how you use the points on Botrix. I know they exist, but I think it's a little bit like Stream Elements points, where you get the points, but then what do you do with them? I had to go say hello to Sapphire Del Pena in her stream. Okay. Still have a few minutes. Do I have any questions from anybody in chat? Or I put everybody to sleep and they're just waiting for me to put myself out of my misery? Trying to remember what I put in my own rewards. I put some sounds. You can put me into emotes only. But I haven't added anything else yet. I don't know. I'm not used to entertaining people without having a grand plan. I had a pretty good plan for the brief discussion of investing, but even that, I want to show how one would go about trying to make short-term gains. but I can't show my own account because then it starts to show the balances and stuff. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to show that stuff. And of course, my other passion, which is genealogy, I don't really want to show my own tree, although if I showed you the part of the tree that I'm working on right now, there's no way you could figure out how they were related to me, because they're like, you have to go back to the 1600s to find out how they're connected to me. And ain't nobody got time for that. Even an AI would have trouble finding me. Although interestingly enough, I'm noticing that Ancestry is using an AI to help relate people that you search for with people that you've already found and how they connect to each other to give you better results, which is very cool. What do I mean by that? You search for a guy named Harry Longjohn from Timbuktu, Iowa. And they were born in a certain year. When it finds someone that matches those dates, they figure out that they're connected to each other, and they give you just those results at the top of the results, which gives you a lot of confidence that you're talking about the same person. Yeah, I remember, Sarah, the stream where I was telling you how I'm related to some interesting people, and you were like, how do you know that stuff? And one day maybe I'll explain some of that stuff, but I want to emphasize being related to a famous person doesn't make anyone special. We're all related to famous people. We just don't know how we're related to those famous people. But once you do figure out how you're related, it's kind of fun. Sarah, I would love to help you do your family tree. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much information is already available about you and your family. But have you ever done the Ancestry DNA? I did that, and I also did 23andMe. Ancestry is much better for actually finding relatives. But yeah, I think on Ancestry, I think it shows me related to 3,500 people that are alive that also did the DNA. And I think for my wife, who happens to be Irish, and I guess because she's Irish and a lot of Irish people have done genealogy, she must have 35,000 people that she's related to. Yeah, I got her to do it because I research both her side and my side so that my kids can know who they're all related to. And at one point I interrogated my brothers and their wives to find out something about their parts of the tree. So while I don't have that many for connections for my wife's side, I do probably have 800 or 900 relatives connected to my wife, so that my kids have a pretty good idea going back 4 or 5 generations on that side. And parts of mine I have going back very, very far. And once you go very far and you connect to a place like Old New England, you can come back forward again. And I have a scary number of cousins that if I really wanted to find, You know, if I really wanted to creep them out, I could find them. I don't want to creep them out because that's just not what I'm about. But I could have a pretty huge family reunion of people that I've never met that are DNA related to me. Some of them that live in other countries like Sweden, that I'm related to them because I have Swedish ancestors, and they're related to me for the same, being related to the same ancestors, but they never left Sweden. Yeah, there's another launch that's actually going to go live shortly. I've been sort of stalling. Did you guys see any of my discussion of how to become a millionaire? Because I know I promised that to you, and you may have missed it. I told exactly how to become a millionaire. As a matter of fact, since this is supposed to have gone live now, let me double check here. Sorry for looking away. It's my fourth monitor. They haven't gone live yet. Oh man, thank you, Bean. Needless to say, you're hitting some pretty important people. You got Raven there. You can use my lame emotes. Yes. W's for Bean. W for Bean. Yes, Effie got one.
Well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect. I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main beam bus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by, 13. We're looking at it.
Yeah, I'm actually live, and I'm shirking my moderator duties for Cottage Kitty. You know who Cottage Kitty is from being in your stream. Come on, guys, go live so I don't have to keep stalling for time. So, Sarah, did you see how to become a millionaire? Did you see that part of my stream? Do I have to show you again? I can do it. I can show you in like 5 minutes. Let's see. As a matter of fact, I specifically picked numbers that were aimed at a 26-year-old person and how they could become a millionaire by the time they were 60 years old. Okay. So, Sarah, are you still here? Okay, here you go. Here you go. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just showing you the math. Are you familiar with what a Roth IRA is? Roth IRA, they basically tax the money that you've made, that you put in, but then from that point on, they never tax you again. Okay? So this thing I'm going to show you is assuming that if you haven't opened a Roth IRA, you have until April 15th of 2024 to put in up to $6,500 of money that you made in 2023. Okay? So if you look on the screen here, this initial investment is $6,500 that you have until April 15th to put in. And then from that point forward, if you put in $583.33 a month, and I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. But assuming you did, that works out to $7,000 a year starting in 2024. That's how much you're going to be allowed to put in. In 34 years, you'll be 60 years old, and you can take money out of your Roth IRA at 59.5. And all you do is invest it every month in the S&P 500. And believe me, it's real easy to do that. And you open an account that has fractional shares. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it later. And you open, I showed the number. The average gain for the S&P 500 is 10.13% per year. Sometimes it does better, sometimes it does worse, but the average is 10.13%. You do that for 34 years, you will end up with $2.1 million. Yeah, I'm killing time here. I don't think they've gone live yet. You like this math? You like this math? I thought you'd like this math. It's a shame you missed the rest of it because I showed you how you can make $1 billion too, but snooze you Liz. Let's see if they've gone live yet. Oops.
Hello?
Oh shit. It's time to rewind. Can I rewind? Well, folks, the launch that you just missed, at least we got $2 million for Sarah. We're already 40 seconds into the launch here. Once again, this is a Falcon 9.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
Launching 23 version 2 mini Starlink satellites. Here, we'll since we missed it.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
I'm sure it sounded something like that.
Max Q.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
As I mentioned and showed you on the map earlier, these two launches that I streamed tonight were just several miles apart from each other. Notice again on this how it's the flames are spreading out more and more. That's basically because there's less air pushing against the flame to hold it in. So it basically gets sloppier and sloppier and less efficient. So when they separate here and you see the second stage light up, you'll notice that the nozzle is much bigger.
Nico. Stage separation confirmed. Invac ignition.
I love how that glows red hot. These are not simulations, these are live feeds that you're watching. Let me move my camera out of the way. Oh, shoot.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Now notice that this is the second stage over here. And it's still getting faster and faster. But notice that the first stage is actually still going up. It's basically had so much velocity that it actually has to coast to a stop before it starts coming back down. Which should happen shortly here. Now, other rockets like the Jeff Bezos rocket that basically takes tourists up, it goes up to 100 kilometers, but this is actually 16 kilometers beyond the Kármán line. They call the Kármán line 100 kilometers basically is what they consider space. Okay, and you can see that this number's starting to come down. And if I'm not mistaken, they need about like 20,000 kilometers per hour, I think, for orbit. I forget.
Vehicle is following a nominal trajectory.
This little arc here shows the events that are going to happen when this gets to here. They'll start the entry burn. Now all the velocity that the this is SpaceX. Same launch company as we watched earlier. It's just this is what Falcon 9, 1/3 of the Falcon Heavy that we watched earlier. Basically, all the energy that the rocket uses to get up has to be reversed completely to be able to come back and land softly, which is just staggering that it can do that. Now you can see it's falling very rapidly. It's accelerating. This is the booster stage. And then let's watch what happens to these numbers when it starts the re-entry burn. So it's lit its engines. And because of the fuel that they're burning, it actually leaves soot all over the side of the rocket, which is sort of a badge of honor for SpaceX. They don't wash it off. They just launch it again with the soot on there.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Now it's still doing
Stage 2 FTS is
5,200 kilometers per hour, and it's less than 30,000 feet. I'm sorry, 30 kilometers.
Vehicle is following a nominal trajectory.
Now it's slowing down basically because the air is getting thicker and thicker and thicker. Now, as of right now, the engine's not running on the booster stage. It's just basically coming down against wind resistance, air resistance. And when it gets to right here, it's going to light up one engine.
Stage 1 transonic.
And if you ever watched one of these launches, it's quite a sonic boom when this thing comes in for a landing, because it's still going supersonic. And if this was a day launch, we'd actually be able to see the rocket coming in. But hopefully we'll get some good video.
Stage 2 and terminal guidance.
I think I will
Stage 1 landing burn.
move myself out of the way temporarily. And now, unlike before, they're going to land on a drone ship.
Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
There you go, folks. They did it again.
Pico.
Now, SpaceX used to broadcast all the way to the point where they deployed the satellites, but at some point they decided, we have better things to do than spend money showing everybody the same thing over and over. So they don't bother showing that part. But I'm pretty confident those satellites are get deployed, along with the something like 5,600 that are already in space. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight for my multiple launches. I wish I had prepared better for the 4-hour gap in between, but I'll get better at this. Thank you for the subs. Special thanks to Bean. Thank you for everyone else that's joined me, supported me, and helped me to get where I am. Kind of feeling a little let down by Kick and YouTube, but I'll love the horse that got me here, which is Twitch. So thank you, Twitch. And right there, my stream just got overwritten by Fuzz's stream because I've got the lurk thing going. Looks like Fuzz is going live. But thank you everybody for coming, and I'll probably do another stream about the investing. I got some homework to do and some research and planning, but I don't know, I feel like I can gain so many people so much in their later years if I get them to invest. It's super important. Things that I wish I'd known when I was younger. My friend and I talk about it all the time. If we knew now if we knew then what we know now, oh my God, we would have so much money. We'd have so much money. But anyway, let's go ahead and raid. I would raid Fuzz, but she's not live yet. And I would raid Sapphire, but she's raiding. Let's go ahead and raid Cottage Kitty. Did I make a raid message? I don't know if I did. Lame, but it'll work. You can copy that message, and let me start the raid. Thanks again, everyone. Hopefully I'll get better and better at this, and I got to get used to